And we continue to monitor President Trump's event down there in Atlanta. He's been talking about funding for HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, which he's talked about many times before, has still not yet got into his new Platinum Plan for African-American economic empowerment. But when he does, we'll go back to him. In the meantime, the latest on the investigation into the Russia probe, Attorney General William Barr revealing the key source that was used in the infamous anti-Trump dossier had also been investigated by the FBI for documented contacts with suspected Russian intelligence officials. Let's bring in the Republican chairman of the Senate Homeland Security Committee, Ron Johnson. He's joining us from a lovely place in Wisconsin this afternoon. Senator Johnson, good to be with you. You tweeted about this and said, this is what Russian disinformation looks like. Your thoughts on this idea that the subsource for the Steele dossier was believed to be in contact with Russian intelligence officials. What does that say about the whole basis for the Mueller investigation?
Well, there really was no legitimate predicate for that investigation from my standpoint, because, and certainly there was no legitimacy to continuing it past any time past January 2017, because in early October of 2016, they already realized they had information that the subsource might have ties to Russian intelligence, could have been a former KGB officer. By December, they knew that their own FBI had investigated this individual as a possible Russian intelligence officer. And then, of course, in January 2017, they actually interviewed subsources, and we found out, these comments were never intended to be made part of a report. They were, just rumors. That it was, kind of talk you'd have over a couple of beers. So the FBI was well aware of how unreliable the Steele dossier was, and yet in March of 2018, a FBI briefed the Senate Intelligence Committee and still claimed that the Steele dossier was reliable. So, no, this Crossfire Hurricane should have been shut down by no later than the end of January. We never should have had special counsel. The amount of interference in our election, the impact in our election in terms of how the Democrats treated this, how corrupt actors in the FBI and how the corrupt media has treated this. Let's face it, Russian disinformation itself, its effect pales in comparison to really the effect on what happened with the Democrats pushing this false narrative and the mainstream media carrying the Democrats' water.
And as we know, there were people in the FBI who believed the Crossfire Razor, which was the investigation, the sub-investigation into Michael Flynn, they wanted it closed in early January. And then Peter Strzok said, no, don't close it. And that's where Strzok and another FBI agent went to speak with Michael Flynn, and that's how he got himself in trouble. William Barnett, who was an FBI agent on the Mueller investigation team, told the U.S. Attorney Jeffrey Jensen, who's looking into the Flynn investigation, that the Mueller investigation was part of an attitude to, quote, get Trump, and that the Russia collusion investigation was, quote, not there, a dead end. Your reaction to what Bennett said?
Well, first of all, I was pretty angry that we just now got that piece of information. This is information we should have known literally years ago. But I don't have it with me, but I've just printed off a document production. One letter we got from the FBI in an email, and we got the exact same email from the GSA. The GSA document is completely unredacted. The FBI is completely unredacted. So that's my problem with our subpoena against, for the FBI to produce documents. We've given them 2 extensions now. What information we get is heavily redacted, and we know there's no reason for it to be so heavily redacted because we have something from another agency, and we actually get the information from it. So people within the FBI have been hiding the ball for far too many years. The American people deserve the truth. It's well past time that the American people get the truth.
Barnett, the FBI agent, talked about Comey in this report from Jeff Jensen. He said that Comey's firing was interpreted as obstruction when it could just have easily been done because Trump did not like Comey and wanted him replaced. This is something that the president has argued all along, yet the Mueller investigatory team and many Democrats, including Adam Schiff, have said no, his firing had to be obstruction. So what does this say about all that?
Well, again, when you take a look at that 15-page interview memo that was just released by Attorney General Barr, what you also find out is the lawyers running the special counsel operation. They had their predetermined outcome. And so they use people like Mr. Barnett, the investigators, as just kind of errand boys. We want you to, dig up this. Rather than the way it should be handled is the investigators, as as they find and uncover things, they seek to get the court approvals. Basically, you have the court approvals already predetermined, and then basically have the FBI agencies as the, I hate to say, the lackeys to go do the bidding of the special counsel. That's not the way these things should work. So again, I think we need to do a true investigation of the special counsel operation, as well as further take a look, and we need documents to determine exactly how much corruption was there in the entire Crossfire Hurricane investigation. This is a major scandal. The mainstream media continues to look the other way, as they did look the other way when we released our 87-page report on Hunter and Joe Biden and all the intricate webs and the very troubling financial transactions that we uncovered. Yeah. The mainstream media has to start asking some questions because, again, the American people deserve the truth. It's well past time they get it.
Senator Ron Johnson joining us from Wisconsin. Senator, thanks so much. We'll look forward to see what else your committee comes up with. We want to go back now to President Trump, who's just outside of Atlanta, is remarking on the Breonna Taylor case.